Hi, it's April 11th and I want to dedicate this short video just to explain why you shouldn't panic sell during this period, particularly where we are suffering high rates of volatility in the markets. Now, despite the famous 90-day pause from Trump early this week on pausing the carnage and damage of the tariffs for 90 days, with the exception of China, there's been some leaps and bounds on the peaks and troughs of the volatility. Now, I just want to give a quick explanation what I'm seeing as the hidden motive for Trump to do this. I'm showing you a chart of the US Treasury, which is the bond, the 20-year bond yield. Now, if you recall, Trump is faced with this humongous $36-37 trillion national debt. And what he was hoping to do is by tanking the market, that is the hidden motive, by tanking the market, he was hoping to achieve not only a drop in prices, asset prices, stocks, commodities, crypto, and so on, but more importantly, he was hoping for the 10, 20, 30-year US Treasury bond to also drop in interest rate payment, because given that he has to worry about what he's going to do when the $9 trillion bonds that's been previously issued, which is close to maturing, he needs to worry about reissuing new sets of government bonds under a discounted interest rate payments, which means when those become matured, he was banking on paying less interest rate payments. Now, unfortunately, that strategy move of his has worked against him. As you can see, ever since the past week, we've seen nothing but the interest rate payments for the 20-year bond, and it's the same with the 10, 20, 30-year bonds, is actually increasing rather than decreasing, which was what he was hoping to achieve as a result of this conundrum, this shenanigan move of his to impose tariffs to countries and to tank the market to achieve just that. It's having the entirely opposite effect. Right, this is the hidden move of Trump, which has backfired on him and which have actually caused his team and himself to do a U-turn and provide this momentary 90-day pause on the tariff. So the bottom line is these are horrendous set of decision making that is completely outside the control of any entity, any individual, and particularly when you're most concerned about, as I am, on the livelihood of our savings and assets in our portfolios, we should never ever fall into the trap of this shenanigan activities by the elites, by the governments, by the central banking authority. They're all the same, and that we need to do everything that we can to take that back down at the individual level, because that's where this sovereignty lies, not with any government, not with any nation state for that matter. So bottom line is, let's not fall into the trap of mass selling, panic selling our assets. That can only work to the elite advantage, because think of it, they were hoping to achieve that, as well as what I just explained to you about Trump issuing new government debt at a low interest rate payments, which hasn't worked out in the end. In addition to tanking the market and bringing down the asset prices, well, it will enable the elite to do other things, many other things in terms of refinancing some of their national initiatives, whatever they may be. That's just besides the point. The point is, let's not fall into the trap of panic sell, please. And let's ride out through this storm, trying to use this time that you have. If you have any surplus cash that is left in your deposit account, which is not really yielding anything and will never ever yield any interesting rate of return for you, and even less so in this cheap money era where the central banks, including the Fed, are going to be expected to continue on this quantitative easing, i.e. reducing their rates. So that's what I would suggest you do, is to stack those sats, hold into the long term, and you're going to be, without any shred of a doubt, one of the few left standing, reaping the rewards of your efforts and courage into riding out any of these sort of crises, shenanigans, black swan events, whatever you want to call it. They're all the same. It's all market manipulation by the elite, by the collective. So let's be brave, let's do the right thing, not fall into the trap of panic sell, and I'll see you next time.